Welcome to our new series where we're going to be ranking our top 5 matches of the week, giving y'all our personal list of our personal top 5 matches. It could be of any promotion that we just so happen to watch. Yeah, just obviously current matches. We're not going back in time or anything, just current matches of the week. And at the end of the video, we're as well going to give you our MVPs in our men and our women's division. Yeah, how you feel about our new series that we're starting?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be really fun to be able to wait to kind of recap stuff that we might not talk about in a video throughout the week. So it's nice to kind of get a little recap, maybe shed some light for you guys if you haven't watched a match, or you can guys leave your top 5 down in the comments below, and we can see matches that we haven't seen as well. So should be a pretty fun dynamic to go forward.
Yeah, for sure. But we're gonna start off the list with my number 5, and my number 5 is Javon Evans versus Ethan Paige, Laredo Kid, and Ray Phoenix at Worlds Collide. It was the obviously recent AAA and WWE event. But yeah, it was a very fun show. That had a lot of good matches on that show, so it's kind of hard to decide what this number 5 was going to be on my list. However, I did give it to this. The only kind of knock I really had against the match was I feel like maybe the wrong person won with Ethan Page. But what do you think about the match?
Yeah, I really enjoyed this match. This was one that I kind of did think about putting on my list, but I did have a few that I think just topped it a little bit more. But yeah, this is definitely a really good match and a very good spotlight for a Laredo Kid who a lot of people might not have seen yet. And same thing for Javon and even a Ray Phoenix because he's still pretty fresh. And then obviously Ethan Page, if you're not a big fan of NXT. But yeah, overall great match. And yeah, I had the same knock as you that I didn't really want Ethan to win, but I don't mind it either.
Yeah, for sure. But what's your top 5?
For my number 5, I went with one. This might be a little controversial because I know a lot of people did rate this match fairly high, and that is Chad Gable versus Elio DelVecchio at WWE and AAA's Worlds Collide event. This match was obviously really good. For me, I just think there's a few matches that I think were a little bit better, but I do think this is a very good match, and I do love the big spots that they did. This is kind of what I wanted to see from these two together. Obviously, Vikingo, very high flyer, super, just athletic, and then Chad Gable, just the pure strength of him is very fun to see every night, and yeah.
Yeah, I have this match ranked a little bit higher than what I had in our original rating of the video. I have rewatched it, and I do rate it a lot higher, as you'll probably see in my ranking next. But yeah, in my next number 1, I have TNA Against All Odds, Masha Slimmers versus Li Ying Li. Yeah, this was probably Li Ying Li's best match of her career. She obviously had a run in WWE as well, and she just had a world title match in TNA Against All Odds. Masha Slimovic is already known as one of the better women's in all of the women's division in all of wrestling. So yeah, it was really cool to see Li Ying Li get this match, and she really performed as well as Masha Slimovic. She pulled out some moves that I've never seen her do before, and yeah, this was just a very impressive match.
Yeah, I'll spoil it as well. This is my number 4 as well. This is a match that you watched, and I didn't watch it live, but you kind of said, hey, this is a match that you probably should watch. I watched it a few days ago, so yeah, this match was really good. I do agree this is one of Lee's best matches. I think probably in her entire career. Masha, this kind of feels like another day in the office for her, to be honest, because it's to show how good she really is. At first, this match did start a little slow for me, but after you kind of get that second gear hit, then they kind of just go all out, and a lot of cool moves that you don't really see very often, like the stretch muffler, which I think is a very cool move when done right. And yeah, I think it's a very good performance from both women.
Yeah, and moving on to my number 3, we have the WWE Men's Money in the Bank match, obviously with Seth Rollins, LA Knight, Pensa, Andrade, Solo Sikoa, and Grande Americano. And this was just a really good match. Most of the time you see the women have the better of the stipulation matches. That seems to be a current theme that goes around in WWE. However, this time it was completely different, and the men had the better one, as well as they had the better Survivor Series this past year as well. So the men are showing out, doing a lot better in these big kind of mashup matches. Well, yeah, what do you think about the Men's Money in the Bank match?
Yeah, again, this is also my number 3 as well. This match was really fun. Obviously, a Money in the Bank match can allow for a lot of cool moments. It might not be the best technical match, obviously, but that's not what you're here for. It's for the fun moments, the big spots that you'll see. We've seen here as well. We've seen a dueling Canadian Destroyer, or Mexican Destroyer, I guess, where Pensa hits his, and then also I think Andrade hits a big power bomb, so not the double one, that was the women's one. But yeah, this match was really fun. I really like the last spot I mentioned in our results video where Grande kind of gets that catapult and then uses the ladder to leverage to another ladder to take out Pensa, which is really cool. But yeah, a very fun match.
Yeah, for sure. One of the better Money in the Bank matches that we've had in recent years, honestly. But moving on to my number 2, we're going to the AEW side of things. That is from that Fighter Fest this Wednesday, that 4-hour show where we seen Kenny Omega versus Brody King, Claudio Castagnoli, and Mascara Dorada. And yeah, it was a really good match. Obviously, any Kenny Omega match is going to be awesome, but you put him in there with Claudio, Brody King, and Dorada, and it's just going to be high flying yet hard hitting. Just a little bit of everything matched up in this match. And yeah, it was a really good showing for Kenny Omega.
Yeah, this is just a great way to show so many different styles of pro wrestling. Kenny Omega, kind of like a do-it-all type of guy. A Brody King, who's just a pure, strength guy who can also move quite fast for his size, and he uses that to his advantage a lot in his matches, which I really love. Claudio is another pure strength guy who is also sneakily athletic as well. And then Mascara Dorada, just the pure athleticism from him was really fun. I love the moments where Kenny and Mascara Dorada kind of teamed up for a little bit. Then kind of all the baby faces went against Claudio, which is nice because obviously it's nice seeing the Death Riders getting what they deserve, getting their ass kicked. So yeah, this is a really good match. But for my number 2, I went with Lyra Valkyria and Becky Lynch at WWE's Money in the Bank. This was a great match, not only just because of the match itself, but what it meant for both women involved. Becky Lynch is still kind of fresh since her return. It's in her kind of getting this Intercontinental Championship is very big because it's going to force WWE to use the belt now a little bit more. Lyra Valkyria also walks out of besides losing the match, bigger star I think as well. She had a great performance on the night. I think she has some big plans for her down the line.
Yeah, the match didn't make my list because I don't think it really lived up to the Backlash match that they had, because I was just a big brawling, just hard hitting. They were just all over the place with that. That was a match where Lyra Valkyria really showed that she can wrestle on the level of a Becky Lynch and all the top girls essentially. So it didn't really live up to that match, so I rated it maybe a little bit lower because of that. However, yeah, it was a really good match, and it's always good to see someone come out on top even if they did lose, because Lyra, I feel like, did come out on top of things regardless of the loss.
Yeah, a lot of people try to always say that you're getting buried if you lose, but this is a perfect example of losing your belt, but also coming out as a bigger star from it. Obviously, time will also tell if that really is true, but as of right now, from what everything is transpiring over the last few days, yeah, it's a phenomenal match.
But moving on to my number 1 match of the week, we're going right back to Worlds Collide, and that is Chad Gable versus Vingo. It was talked about a little bit earlier whenever you talked about it, but like I said, I rated it in our review of the show, and I rated it a little bit lower because I don't really know. I had to watch it a second time to really kind of feel things out a second time. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. We seen the big Mexican destroyer onto the apron. We seen Chad Gable do the moonsault through the table off the top rope to the outside. So it was really cool match. We seen him also do this kind of, I don't know what it was called. I believe they called it like a sit-up power bomb or something, where he was on the ropes kind of facing the crowd, and he just does this pile driver. I don't know. I've never seen this move done before, but it was awesome. But yeah, I rate this match a lot higher than I originally did in our review.
Yeah, I already touched pretty much what I had for it, and also from my number 1, I also touched about it as well, and that is the AEW Fighter Fest Fatal 4 between Kenny, Brody, Claudio, and Mascara Dorada. Yeah, I kind of talked about both of them already, but yeah, both phenomenal matches. The Vingo one I definitely think could rise up if I maybe watched it another time or two, but I do think that it's a very good pick for number 1. I can see a lot of people are kind of saying that this is the best match of the week, so yeah, I definitely can't call you wrong.
Yeah, for sure. I think we'll see as the Dave Meltzer rankings come out and everyone else kind of watches it that second time and revisits it later on. But moving on to our MVP side of things, we're going to have 2 MVPs every single week, a women's division and a men's division MVP. We're going to start off with our women's division. I feel like this is an easy one to go with, and I'm going with Stephanie Vaquer. We've seen her wrestle on Raw, SmackDown, Worlds Collide, and Money in the Bank. So yeah, just an incredible little resume that she built in a short period of time in the WWE, and she's just absolutely crushing it right now.
Yeah, she's also my women's MVP as well. You touched it. For the main reason why I have her, and that is just the workhorse. 3 matches in 24 hours is very insane. For some, especially in WWE, you don't really see that too much. They might have like a match a night, or maybe they have a few nights off. But to see that still going is very cool to see. Stephanie Vaquer is obviously a top end talent, so you want to see her this much. And she performed in all of her matches this week. And was just fantastic. Like I said, in every single match.
Yeah, for sure. And moving on to our men's MVP, I'm going with the kind of funny one this time just because I really enjoyed it. The internet really enjoyed it. The IWC really enjoyed him. And that is Mr. Iguana from AAA. He was in the 6-man tag match at Worlds Collide. And he was somebody who just really got over. And he got so over, in fact, that I think that might even make him have like an NXT run or maybe even the main roster, just a short match here and there.
Yeah, I definitely think we will see him again. Maybe at a Royal Rumble. I think it's a perfect, like surprise entrant that people can kind of relate to and remember. But yeah, I definitely don't mind this pick at all. He definitely made me a fan on the night as well. But similar to my women's MVP, my men's MVP is another workhorse, and he had multiple matches this week as well, and that is Chad Gable, also known as Americano, but I'm going with Chad Gable because that's the cooler version. But yeah, he was phenomenal in all his matches. He had the banger match with Vingo, then he also had the banger match in the Money in the Bank the same day. Then also he had a very good qualifier match as El Grande with CM Punk and AJ Styles this past week on Monday Night Raw. So yeah, just a phenomenal week for him as well. That's kind of the cheat code for me is if you're a big workhorse, you're gonna get some nods from me. So yeah, that's why both my people won this week.
Yeah, definitely can't go wrong with that. Obviously, Chad Gable had the banger with Vingo. He's been doing a lot of good storytelling with the Americano thing. If you like it or not, kind of up to you, of course. But yeah, he's doing the stuff with the Creed brothers and everything as well. So yeah, just a very interesting time in the WWE, in AEW, and even in TNA right now. A lot of cool things, and that's kind of why we're starting this series, so we can showcase all the brands in one video and talk about our favorite matches that we personally seen.
Yeah, like I said as well in the start of the video, if you have your top 5 as well, leave them down in the comments. I'm interested in what you guys think, and also leave your MVPs as well, and kind of just talk about what you thought was really good, some underrated matches. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you made it this far, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and we will catch you guys in the next one.